Hello and welcome back to Roger's Rant. So happy that you could join me today. And what we're going to talk about today is being created in God's image. So it's something that you hear about in the Bible, that man is created in God's image. And was just listening to a Florence Scovel Shinn book, The Game of Life and How to Play It. And she was talking also about how we are the image of God. And then we started doing some studies with Judge Troward, with Thomas Troward, that's letting us know that essentially the Bible is the story of us and our recognition of the God inside of us. And then we have Neville Goddard talking about how your imagination is God. Now, if we start to think about this and we take the Bible as not a story of history, but a story of telling us how the human mind works, maybe it's talking about the beginning of time is every single moment. It's every single moment. So you are in the image of God at every moment that you're awake, that you're alive, because that's the image that you hold of yourself inside your head, inside your imagination. So to kind of further back this theory is there's the book by Malcolm Maltz, Psycho-Cybernetics, and he was a plastic surgeon and he was doing surgery on people and he was making them beautiful or changing their flaws or whatever the case was. And after everything was changed and it was exactly how they wanted, some people were still seeing the old version of themselves. And this intrigued him so much that he started to do research. And he found that what's happening to these people is they're not changing their self-image of themselves. So think about that, created in God's image. God essentially is the highest consciousness that you can hold where there's no judgment and you're able to create an image of who that man is. And that's the way that you live, or person, because we're not talking about men or women, but just people in general. So the idea is if we start to look at all these different theories and we start to see that, well, Malcolm Maltz couldn't even figure out until they figured out that that was their self-image. And then when these people started to change their self-image, they started to change everything about the way that they felt. And then they start to see these results. So again, it just really reinforces the fact that we are created in the image that we hold for ourselves. And if we look at it as not as you are the one God that could talk and the Red Seas are going to part, but that you essentially are of this God. And that's kind of what we're all part of in this world, that we all inside of us have God with us, which essentially is said to the Bible that you have to go within to pray to God. The temple of God is the human body. I mean, there's so many references to see that, you have to be still and know I am with you. There's so many ideas to this that we have to start thinking about. The image that we're created in is not the way that we look. It's not the way that we talk. It's not to do with any of that. It's the fact that we are created in the image of God that we hold of ourselves. So our self-image that we hold is the image of God. So to hold any image in our heads that is not perfection and that is not love and is not abundance and is not success is essentially going against the very idea of who you are, the essence of everything that you are. So you have to keep in mind that your self-image is tied to God, and your job is to hold the self-image of yourself in the best possible regard at all possible times. So anytime something happens, you have to hold yourself in an image in your head of the person that's going to walk away from this working out in their favor. And of course, doing it ethically and following the golden rule, doing unto others as you want others to do unto you. And if you're doing those things and you're helping others and not hurting others, you're going to be in a position that you're going to see that your self-image is going to grow. And as that grows, so will every area of your life with being more successful in those different areas. So this self-image, it's not the way we look. It's not the way we talk. It's not the language. It's not the anything. What the self-image is it's saying that the image of God is the image that you hold of yourself right now, which is exactly where your life is. Because if you look back in your life, anytime you were at a point in your life, it kind of correlated to the way that you felt where you should be in your life. So what if we could just change our self-image and it immediately uplifts us to the areas that we want to go to? Maybe there isn't these levels of having to step through all these things. Maybe it was just a perceived belief that if we just really able to develop the self-image, we'll be guided in the right direction. Are there going to be ups and downs? Are there going to be hurdles? Are there going to be challenges? Is there going to be action required? Absolutely. But it all becomes inspired action, which means that it doesn't feel like work anymore. It feels like love. It feels like joy. It feels like giving back. And if that's what work means to you, then you're in the right place. So that's the idea as to the direction of what it needs to go. And just to remember that this image that we are talking about is so important, because that is the image of God. It's your self-image of exactly how you view yourself at any moment. So what is your self-image of yourself right now? What do you think of yourself? Where do you think you should be? What do you think you should have? What do you think you deserve? What do you think you don't deserve? What do you think is right? What do you think is wrong? And then just keep in mind that anytime you think of anything in your life as being bad or wrong, you're saying that there's a power outside of God that's creating something in your life. And the second that you do that, you're creating and opening a door for duality. And duality is not going to end well. Let's just call it the way it is, because we're talking about unity. This is infinity. So everything that you could talk about falls inside of this infinity, and it falls under the essence of God and universal spirit, infinite mind, whatever we're going to call it right now. It's what it all comes down to. And essentially this ever living spirit, I mean, there can't be any chance ever, because if there's chance and you're saying that, well, it's not a bad thing, it happened by chance. Well, you're saying that chance is outside of God, because now God, the all-knowing, all-powerful, now is outside of knowing something's going to happen because it happened by chance. And if you opened up our universe for chance, then there's a chance that someday our planet could leave orbit and go flying right into the sun. But there's no chance. There's no chances. Everything is in perfect divine working order. So if everything is in perfect divine working order, then our job is to work in perfect divine working order, to have our minds always moving in a direction of growth and of opportunity, of love, of success. You know, I've heard it, Earl Nightingale said it great. Success is any person that is working towards a worthy ideal. And that's a beautiful way of thinking about it. It's beautiful. No rules, no conditions, no nothing. If you're working towards an ideal and you achieve it, you're successful. I mean, that's excellent. That's an excellent way of thinking about it. So, you know, what can you do to make yourself more successful? And what can you do right now in this very red hot moment to realize that whatever image you're holding inside your head is exactly where you are? So the image has to change. The image has to be uplifted. The image has to become the best version of who you want to be. But now here comes the next question. Do you know who you want to be? And it's okay if you don't know who you want to be. It doesn't matter if you're 7 years old, 17 years old, 27, 37, 77, 107. It doesn't matter if you don't know what you want to do, because one thing that I heard recently and I want to share with you is that your purpose is alive. It's growing. So everything in life that's alive, it grows, because if we're not growing, we're dying. So your purpose in this life is an everlasting growth. So you're growing into your next purpose. So don't get lost on what am I supposed to do the rest of my life. Don't worry about the rest of your life. Worry about right now. Like you're told in the Bible, don't worry about tomorrow. All you have is right now. So let's focus on what we have right now in this very red hot moment, and not worry about tomorrow, but know that whatever we're doing today is building towards that. It's building towards where we're trying to take our lives and what we're trying to do. But none of this is achievable without changing our self-image of ourselves, because you are created in God's image. So every moment is the beginning of time. Every moment is the beginning of time, because right now, as you're listening to this, even though this was pre-recorded, it doesn't exist anymore. All that exists is the recording from it. So all you have is right now. If you're creating yourself in God's image, what is that image you hold of yourself every single day? Because it's life-changing, and it could change your life. It can empower your life. And it doesn't matter where you are in life. It's growth. You're either growing or dying. There's no two ways about it. And that's the best part, because you have to realize, like, some of these goals that we have are big and scary, but when we achieve them, it creates new contrast. And then there's new goals that you don't even know are out there waiting for you. There are goals waiting for you if you jump on a particular lifeline, which we're not getting into today. But if you jump on it and you live this life, there's goals out there waiting for you that you don't even know about. So if there's something that's big and it's scary, stand up to it, face it, and go after it, and watch, because what's going to happen is, after you start working towards it, new goals are going to start happening because of new contrast in your life. And then that's the journey. That's the fun. That's the essence of everything. So this self-image is creating one where you are able to just continuously grow and achieve. Don't put rules on your life. Don't have to work somewhere. Don't have to do something. Want to do it because it's right. Want to do it because it feels right. Want to do it because it makes you happy. Want to do it because it makes you feel good. And you do things like that, life is truly amazing and truly beautiful in all regards and all respects. But you have to start looking for the good. There's something called your reticular activating system. So first area to start changing your self-image. Instead of looking for bad things in the world, especially in the times that we're in right now, start looking for good things in the world and see what starts being drawn towards you. To start to see what good things that you see. Just say, I'm going to look for some good things today. I'm going to look for some good things today. And as you start to see them, start reinforcing that your self-image of yourself is always seeing good things. And just see where that takes you. Do it for a month. Have fun with it. But that's what I got for you today. Listen, it was awesome chatting with you. I want you all to be well. Until I see you again, peace.